Hello and welcome to this awareness presentation on the risks of noise. First, I will explain the risks and consequences of noise. Then I will explain how to maintain your custom hearing protection. Why should I protect myself from noise? You should know that noise is dangerous at 80 decibels or higher. Between 0 and 30 decibels, everything is fine. It's very quiet, like the sounds you hear in a forest. Between 30 and 70 decibels, it is still quiet. For instance, when I speak, we're at about 65 decibels. 80 decibels. This is the warning threshold. Above this level, the company will provide hearing protection. And above all, you risk losing your hearing at this level for 8 hours a day. 85 decibels. Danger threshold. There is a real risk, and it is at this point that wearing protection becomes compulsory. Between 100 and 120 decibels. It becomes very noisy. For comparison, a rock concert is 100 decibels, and a blowpipe is also 100 decibels. Above 120 decibels, the pain threshold is reached, and it simply becomes intolerable. For example, a plane taking off 50 meters from you is 140 decibels. How dangerous noise is depends on its intensity, but also on how long you're exposed to it. You run the risk of hearing loss if you do not protect yourself. But did you know that exposure to 80 decibels for 8 hours is the same as exposure to 90 decibels for 45 minutes? 45 minutes at 90 decibels, 15 minutes at 95 decibels, and finally, only 30 seconds at 115 decibels. For these 4 exposures, the impact on your hearing will be the same. Deafness is irreversible. This is because the ear is fragile. Inside the ear is the inner ear, where your cochlea is located. In this cochlea, there are hair cells, and it is these same hair cells that capture sound. Sounds that are too loud will destroy these hair cells. Each cell is unique, so when it is destroyed, you no longer hear the sound it was capturing. Everything that is lost permanently. It does not grow back. There are no operations possible. You will never get your hearing back. In order not to lose your hearing, it is important that your protection is worn 100% of the time of exposure. Indeed, this is the only condition for them to be effective. Do you have safety shoes? Do you put them on well before arriving at your workplace? It's the same thing for hearing protection. Imagine it's raining. You're outside for 10 minutes. You use your umbrella for 5 minutes, take it out, put it back in. What happens? You get wet, less than if you had not used the umbrella at all, but you are still wet. For hearing protection, it's the same principle. You can protect yourself for a while, but if you do not protect yourself permanently, you'll get wet in the long run. The 3 key points to remember. The first is that noise is dangerous from 85 decibels. The second is that deafness is irreversible. Everything that is lost for good. And finally, for protection to be effective, it must be worn 100% of the time spent in noise. You will receive your hearing protection in about 4 weeks. When you receive your hearing protectors, you should be aware that there is an adaptation time of a maximum of 3 weeks. So we advise you to wear them gradually. For example, wear them for 2 hours at the end of your shift, but remember to wear your other hearing protection first. And then increase the rate of wear gradually every day until the end of the 3rd week. Just like shoes, you have to adapt to them. Hearing protection is the same thing. Some people will get used to it very quickly. A few days will be enough. For others, it will take a little longer. There are two ways to put on your hearing protection. The first is to insert the protection in your canal and to carry out a quarter of a turn. The second is to insert the protection directly by pressure. For both methods, you will have to make sure that the handle is parallel with the angle of the ear. This will mean that it is well positioned. Your protections have a 6-year guarantee. Throughout these 6 years, it will be necessary to maintain them so that they remain perennial. For that, we provide you with several solutions: a cleaning tool to clean the duct and the filter, an active cleaning foam, as well as washable microfiber wipes to clean the surface of your protections, to remove dust and thus avoid itching and irritation.